All right, good evening, everyone. We are going to get started. Welcome to part 3 of HeartSmarts and Perfect Foods, Food is Medicine series. My name is Dr. Naa-Solo Tettey. I am the creator and director of the HeartSmarts program. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Welcome to those who are joining us for the first time, and welcome back to those of you who have been with us for the last 3 weeks now, or 2 weeks. So tonight we have a great evening planned for you. We have an amazing guest speaker, and we are also going to discuss our sprouting experience. The focus of today's session is on juicing for health, benefits, science, and healing properties of wheatgrass and microgreens. And as you all can see on the screen, we have our amazing sprouting pictures from the last week for the HeartSmarts participants. And tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to ask some of you to come off of mute and share your experience that you had briefly with sprouting. So if you need to prepare yourself, prepare your background, or get ready in any way to be on camera, if you'd like to share your experience, just as a heads up, we will be doing that this evening. Also, our guest speaker this evening will be sharing her personal testimony. And so she's open to speaking to any of you or answering any questions that you have. So as always, you all can put in the chat any questions that you have for her, and any questions at all that you have throughout the evening, you can place it in the chat. Before we begin, as always, we'd love to know how you guys are doing today, where you're joining us from. So you can put it in the chat. How's your day going? How was your sprouting experience? Where are you joining us from? Anything at all that you'd like to share, feel free to put it in the chat. All right, so our guest speaker for today is Natalia Maldonado Feinberg. She is a wellness advocate, cancer survivor, coach, writer, and founder of Warrior Life Code. She educates and guides women who are sick and tired of giving their power away and who are ready to take control of their health, experience the empowered and holistic lifestyle one can achieve by activating their inner wellness warrior with love. So our first speaker this evening will be Natalia. So I'm going to stop sharing and add her to the screen. All right. Should be able to unmute. Good evening. Welcome to our presentation. And we're so excited to have you. And as I shared with Rebecca, there are people in the HeartSmarts program who are either cancer survivors or people who are currently dealing with cancer. So when she shared with me that you were able to heal yourself through natural means, including wheatgrass, I thought that was an excellent fit for those of us that we have in this program. So I am going to stop talking, come off of the screen, and you can share as much as you'd like. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my goodness, my heart is soaring. That picture of everyone sprouting, I got choked up. So number one, thank you so much for having me on this beautiful space that you have created. And number two, I am coming to you live from Orlando in our garage. There was a crazy storm here. So if you see the background here, it is the Wi-Fi is a little wonky, but it was perfect right here, standing on one leg now. So yes, my name is Natalia, also known as Wellness Warrior, and it is an honor to share my story with you. And may, if this resonates with you, I look forward to answering any questions, or because so many of us either have experienced cancer or we know someone who has. So can I just do a tally? Do you on this platform here? Do you know anyone, or maybe you have experienced anyone with cancer? Like, do you have a family member? Maybe you have cancer survivor. You just shared that there was cancer survivors in this program. So I just want to get an idea. Your sister.
Yeah, you all can put in the chat one.
Yeah,
the
you
number
can type
one
in the chat.
Or yes, yeah, if you know anyone or are survivor.
One, yeah. So that's one thing where collectively, I just know every time I go into a room that we all have that in common. Cancer is a word that we contract, and may this conversation empower you. May this conversation that we have tonight, may my story give you some sense of my heart goes out to those who passed away because of cancer. But those of you who are still fighting, or maybe in the future you are diagnosed, may this story, my testimony, really give you power and hope that there is solutions out there. Okay, so as she said, yes, I'm a founder of Warrior Life Code, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2019. So I was a police officer in New York City, and I remember I was on the 34th and 8th when I really had made a decision that I wanted to focus on wellness. I'll never forget the day where I was just like, I want to serve people, but I want to serve through wellness and healing. And I decided to resign early to completely dive into the health and wellness world. I was teaching Bikram yoga, I was teaching empowerment and coaching. And so I'll never forget the day of just like, I'm just fully committing. I was almost about to get promoted to a sergeant. I had taken the test and it was like 2 weeks away. And I made that decision to choose a path of wellness. And I thought I was making that decision to make sure that I stayed fit and strong and healthy because my family had a background of obesity and strokes and heart attacks. So I'm like, I'm going to deep dive in health and wellness and help other people. So life happened, things unfolded, traumas happened. And in 2019, when I got the diagnosis that it was confirmed my body had activated cancer cells in my right breast. And I always share a joke. I hope no one gets offended, but it was actually my wife who found the lump. So I always say foreplay saves lives, right? Making sure that you know each other, you know your body, and may your partner also know your body. So she's the one who found the lump, and because of her and her insistence on, yes, thank you, on her insistence in me checking out and going for the test, we went the conventional route. So I always like to say, at this point in my life in 2019, I was already in this wellness space and drinking celery juice and coaching women and losing weight with love, that anything medical, anything going to the hospital was already a little traumatizing for me. I really wasn't, I did my yearly checkups, and it wasn't normal for me to be on medication. So the diagnosis itself was a shock, obviously hearing cancer, but it also got me really pissed off. Like I have to say, I was angry, I was disappointed, and I didn't understand. I was confused. And while we went conventional with the test, we did the mammogram, we did MRI, we did the biopsy. I think we officially stopped conventional world when I went to the first oncologist and recognized that as I was in such fear and confused because I was 39 years old, I thought my lifestyle choices was healthy and correct, and I didn't understand, and I went for guidance, and I left really feeling even more confused and more in fear. And while the oncologist at the time was extremely professional, and she really exactly what she needed to do, like she knew the stats, she knew what she had to do, there was just a disconnect in feeling human. Can anyone relate to that when you go to the doctor? And it's not that there's any offense, it was just for my personal experience, for going through such a shock. I was seeking connection from her. I was seeking guidance and a pause of why. And I'll never forget when I looked at her and I was just like, while she's drawing out the stats and telling me the dates of, my options. And, I remember looking at her and I'm just like, I'm 39 years old. Cancer does not run in my family. Why? And she just rolled back her chair and she was so like, just very light about it. And I was just, it's happening more and more to younger women. And there was just such a disconnect where I looked at my wife and crying, and I was just like, there has to be another way. And so we ended up leaving, praying, getting on our hands and knees and praying. I'm like, okay, so if that's not an option, if I'm not going her route, dear God, angels, like show me a way. And we were led to Hippocrates Health Institute. Hippocrates, now it's called Hippocrates Wellness, based in West Palm. Understand that while I was healthy in the sense of, I was plant-based, drinking my green juice and things like that, I had never experienced raw vegan or anything. And that's what this place is, a 55-acre healing space where their focus is so many people go through there for healing cancer holistically, alternative treatment, removing the everyday processed foods, things you're doing through a deep dive through detoxification, but not just food. It was also the whole body. So there was therapy, there were, there was different types of alternative treatments available during this program. And so we took the leap. While there wasn't stats and science, we went with faith and inner guidance. And so thank goodness, I always look back at, I was in the military for 4 years, the Air Force, and I was a cop for 7. And while those moments, I was a completely different human being, I really believe those positions, everything was in perfect alignment because it taught me discipline, right? And so with that, now I had to be disciplined for my life. And because I arrived at Hippocrates and I felt safe, I felt at home. And the first thing they told me was, this is where we teach you how to love yourself back to health. I knew I was in the perfect space because there was already a knowing that the dis-ease that was activated within my body had some emotional component to it. And that's exactly what I devoted myself to, is to learning how to detox. And when I'll never forget the first time they introduced wheatgrass to us, and they said, this wheatgrass is going to help you. So I don't care. They're like, I don't care if you don't like the taste of it. I don't care if, but it's literally the amount of wheatgrass, the chlorophyll amount and its superpowers. It's going to be part of your healing process. So if you don't drink it, we're going to get it in you, implanting it. So we can go into that after. I won't go too deep into implanting wheatgrass right now. I don't want to scare anyone off. But when I got there, their main focus was making sure that I got wheatgrass, 2 ounces of wheatgrass, drinking twice a day, along with raw, vegan, all types of sprouts. And once I spoke with people and once I started understanding and hearing the benefits and understanding the superpowers of this living food, that's how they refer to it, I understood that if I stay focused, if I really want to live and do it from this like healing space from everything, I need to go all in. So sure enough, within the 3 weeks, I was the nerd. I wanted to be in the front. I wanted to learn how to sprout. I wanted to learn when, how, what juicer I needed, how much money I needed. Like I just went all in, along with the emotional healing. So by the time I got back home, there was this, which is part of the healing, right? Putting your stake in the ground, understanding that when disease like this is activated in your body, there's this knowing that there has to be self-worth, self-respect, and follow through for self. And that means showing up, saying no to people, really reorganizing the lifestyle, reorganizing your whole life and changing it. Healing, deciding to heal naturally also was like not part. I'm Puerto Rican, so this was unheard of in my family, right? In the Latino community, it was just wasn't very supported from my mom at the time. But I went full force because it was a belief, and I truly I spoke to enough people and I felt it in my soul, like this is the path. And so I started out with 1 tray of wheatgrass. Like that's how it started. We bought the seeds, we bought the tray, and I prayed over the seeds. I prayed over it, just watching videos and through the guidance of the Hippocrates workbook. And I became obsessed with wheatgrass. And then it began not only wheatgrass, then I started growing sunflower sprouts and pea sprouts. And all of a sudden, before you knew it, the whole living room became a sprouting house, and there was joy in it. So the process the difference with my healing in this process, while it was scary, there was still this joy, because as I learned more and more about the power of living food and what it was doing for me, I would pray as I would harvest, as I drank my juice. I would visualize, just like Moana. I don't know who watched Moana. That it's like a cartoon, the little girl saving the island. Tafiki, yes. So there wasn't like dread. There wasn't. There was just, of course, lots of there were just more moments of living with the living food, life force activating within me, and creating space for my body to heal. And that was more of how I decided to heal from breast cancer. I decided to use the cancer as my teacher. And I used to put the wheatgrass, and sometimes I still do, the wheatgrass pulp. I used to take the liquid and put the liquid on the pulp and place it and pray and allow my skin to absorb. And maybe a little later, Rebecca can talk about, the power of that. But, and I just wanted to share it really quick, if there's time for you guys, so I can share my version of love, why I spell love with 3 V's. Do you guys want to hear it? How I loved myself back to health really quick. Do you want to learn it? Yes. Yes. Okay, perfect. So here's the wellness accelerator formula. I realized as I every single day chose to drink my wheatgrass with love. Every day I chose to drink my green juice, that I grew my sprouts. And I remember during COVID, I remember every day waking up with love during COVID and quarantine, while people were running to Costco. And I'm like, I got my source, my life force right here. Like I started like juicing wheatgrass for the neighbors. I'm like, no, but we're not getting COVID today. So I ended up choosing love. And when I say that, for me, love, L means letting go. Every single day, still to this day, August 2021, I was declared cancer-free. And we're celebrating it because it was June 11th of 2019 that I was diagnosed. And so this is the month where I go back for tests. I still, like, now I feel good enough to like I got a CT scan, I got my MRI, like, and I know how to detox from radiation. Like, I have I've empowered myself with a plan. Like, okay, I'm getting my test, so I got to make sure I have this detox ready. And that's why I'm a health advocate. I no longer walk into a doctor's office or a hospital giving my power away. I go in with power and like knowing like they need to answer the questions like that I have. They need to give me time, right? And so letting go, the L is letting go of any toxic food, toxic thoughts, and toxic people, right? So a part of that was this, like, it was a release, a relinquishing of any old stories that I had, right? Emotionally, and then any kind of toxicity around me that I allowed from people pleasing. That's part of the metaphysical reason and connection to cancer is resentment and anger, and especially breast cancer, over nurturing of others. So here, L means letting go of all of that. I choose to live. And then the O is about opening your heart. So now I'm letting go and relinquishing, but now I have to forgive myself. I'm opening my heart to forgiveness to myself, opening my heart to forgiveness of others too, right? So there's no poison happening in my body. I release it, and now I forgive. I forgive myself for allowing it, and I forgive others. The first V in love is about, yes, V is about visualizing every single day. Even to this day, every single day, I visualized myself walking, talking, like I saw it, healed, whole, happy, like it is done. Like and I create a community of wellness warriors. I'm like, a wellness warrior walks in victory already. I am healed already. This cancer is just a little blip. Like it's my teacher. Like where's the direction? And so the visualizing healing and wholeness it's part of me already. Every morning, visualizing, and always open the heart, open your heart, crack your heart open. It is done. Yeah. So the V, the first one, and the V is visualization. And then the second V, is about voicing your truth. Really quick, I'll share a story. I'll never forget when there was a moment, I get excited. There was a moment where it was all these voices coming at me. The doctor telling me I needed to do this. My mom telling me I needed to do this. My family telling me to do this. And I was just like, what? Like, what is happening? Like, what do I want? And the moment where people were telling me, no, it's good if you you have to go through the regular route. Like, it's okay if they take your breast. Like, it was just like everyone had advice for me and not hearing me. And I remember I just need to go for a run. And while I'm going, like, I'm getting ready, like, moving, exercise heals me. And while I'm getting ready, I literally hear a dog barking, like barking so loud, a stray dog. And it was a strip. I was at the time living on a farm trying to figure out life, where I was going to go. This was in between whether we were deciding we were going to Hippocrates or what was the next step. And I hear the stray dog and I'm like, not you too. Like, not you too. And if I run, the dog is going to chase me, right? Like a stray dog. If you run, they're going to go after you. And I felt like this was like my life. I was trying to run from people's voices, but I couldn't every which way. So I literally turned, put my hands on my hips, and I was like, shut the ass beep up, right? And all of a sudden, the dog's tail goes in between the legs and he runs away. And I'm not telling anybody to tell their family members, doctors to shut the beep up. Be respectful. But that's what I mean by, like, that moment was when I put my stake in the ground. Voicing my truth with grace has been so healing. And I went for an amazing run. I made my decision, and every single day, voicing my truth with grace, saying yes when I want to say yes, and saying no. Like, no is a complete sentence. Right? Saying no when I want to say no. That in itself is healing. And so second V is voicing your truth. And then the third V is vibrating higher. And this is where the sprouts came in. I'm telling you, when you start eating living foods, you are literally fueling your body with life. You are vibrating higher. The moment you start connecting, it's such an intimate experience when you grow your food. When even, I mean, look at those of you who are growing in jars and you see it grow and you see it sprout. How intimate is it? You just saw it sprout. You soaked it in beautiful, or distilled water, whatever, and filtered water. And then it grows and you chew, and it's so beautiful. Of course, you're going to vibrate higher. Of course, you're going to feel empowered. And so doing that every single day, vibrating higher, connecting, and there's a clarity. So I'll never forget, the moment you are clear, conscious, and connected, you will know what to do. Remove all the negative patterns and negative influences and let these sprouts come into your life. You will know what to do because you're taking care of yourself. And then the E is empowerment. So the E is empowering yourself. Empower yourself with the tools. So many of us choose not to grow. Like I remember when I was like, this works, and I'm shouting to the top. I wanted to share sprouts and wheatgrass to everyone. I wanted to tell the world about wheatgrass. I'm like, how do you not know? Like, why are we drinking more of it? And I was going to farmers markets. I wanted to empower people. And the first thing, it's so hard. Where do I get the seeds? And I'm just like, no, empower yourself and do the research. If it's not available in your community, be the one that makes it available in the community. Find the seeds, find more like people like that's more connected, create the conversation, empower yourself for your health, move your body, train your brain. Like, love is what I practice every single day. And that is my mission, to train others to do the same. And that is how I truly believe I've healed from breast cancer naturally. And I continue to fearlessly just move forward in life, not scared, because that's the other question. Are you ever scared it's going to come back? And I'm just like, no, because if I'm presented with another life situation, like dis-ease in the body, I'll do it again. I'll just like replenish. I'll try to connect the dots, what happened, and do it again. There's this peace when you have this beautiful living food that you're growing in your house. There's this peace that comes to you, that no matter what the government says, no matter what life situation happens, there's this reminder of life. There's this reminder of love. every time I stand there and juice my wheatgrass every single day, I'm reminded I choose me, I choose love. And that's how I healed from breast cancer. And that's my story. Any questions?
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you so much for blessing us with your testimony. And um, we honor you for reliving that with us, and we respect you for doing that and respect and honor your journey that has brought you here with us this evening. I'm sure so many people, especially those in this community who are dealing with cancer, have been so touched by your words this evening. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dr. Ruby Lathan, but she is also a cancer survivor who healed herself in a very similar way with the wheatgrass and changing her diet and all of that. But something that she said that you also said is about the belief. And many people had questions for her about how much wheatgrass did you take and when did you take it and all of that. And she said, if you don't believe that it's going to work, it doesn't matter really what the protocol is that you use. And so I don't want people on the call this evening to think that we're just talking about people with cancer. Oftentimes I find in this health and wellness space that people will do something for a little bit while it's exciting. So right now we've grown these sprouts and we're excited about it. But say in a couple of weeks or a couple of months where it's not as exciting anymore and you have to wash them in the morning and wash them in the evening and all of that, some people are going to start to move away from it. And I just want you to speak a little bit more to the people in this program who are constantly on the fence, so to speak, and who may relapse a lot back into their old behaviors. And perhaps there's a part of them that doesn't believe that they can be fully healthy. And I believe there's a part of them that's waiting for the ultimate diagnosis as the reason why they make the change. Can you speak to those people? Because I think someone like you may be able to get to them better than someone like me.
No, absolutely. I truly believe in, and that's part of my message is why wait for the diagnosis. Preventative measures are extremely important and available now. Like it's just so much more available. And I truly believe that one day at a time with compassion. So we're taught to use rain. Whenever you're starting a journey and you're feeling really good, for some reason, it's human nature. Any little trigger, anything that goes wrong, we relapse, right? So a little trick that we've been taught is rain, and it's R to recognize. So may you create, and for a long time, it's like Post-its everywhere. So it's reminders of the why. Like, why are you so excited in this moment about growing your sprouts, and why is it you want to feel good? And so whenever there's a relapse, or trying to little by little going back into old patterns, negative patterns that make you feel like crap or make you feel fatigued or bring back old things, recognize the feeling, pull it up, don't ignore it, because the more you push down, it's like beach balls. If you try to like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm fine. Push down. The beach balls eventually are going to pop up in your face, right? And you're just it'll blow up, and you'll do worse things or overdo things. So the pause, and you recognize, oh, this is what's happening. This is what I'm feeling. And if you give yourself permission to recognize and then assess the situation. Who are you around? Are you noticing when you're around certain, it can hurt sometimes, but are you noticing when you're around certain people, or it's the job, like after work, there's just a stress that gets activated, or are there like environments? A lot of times it's an environment that really aren't supporting the future self that you so true desire to be pulled in. And so it's really recognizing, assessing the situation, and then investigating what changes need to be made. So if there's an instant craving, is there an instant like, I'm giving up, this is stupid, like, oh, my wheatgrass, whatever, it didn't work this time. And instead of like investigating, if there's moments that you want to give up, investigate the reason. Like, why are we continuing to give up on ourselves and our health when we know we feel good about it? We just need a little help, some like, be the detective. And then N is to nurture. Be okay with the feeling that comes up and nurture yourself. What is it that you need in that moment? Most of the time people relapse into old patterns. It's lack of love. Like you need a hug, you need a nap, you need a break, you need to step away. But we're in a society where it's push, go, force, expectation, comparison, and all these things compiled, where we get disconnected from self and we get disconnected from love. When I say love, I mean God, spirit, guides, energy, however you want to look. But when there's a disconnect from love, that's when we relapse. But when you're connected to self, and there's this consistency of choosing to feel good, choosing to really honor our bodies and sit with it, right? When there's just like non-negotiable around that, my goodness. And I think also part of it is community. If there were some really dark moments, I'm not saying it was perfect. There were some really dark times, especially, there were times where my mother just couldn't understand. And she would call me, please schedule the surgery, please call this, and there were just like moments, like I almost would just like give in to keep my mom. Like I'm the only child. She was so scared for me. But at the same time, I'm like, who am I to give up everything that I truly believe in my gut, to feel good and health? And like, I truly believed in the wheatgrass. And I have to say, part of it, you're absolutely right. People get so consumed with how many times did you take the wheatgrass? What time? And the protocol is also the belief, but it's also the forgiveness, right? So there was this process of, as I'm going through this, there's this releasing and forgiving. A lot of times, the reason why people relapse and go back to self-sabotaging is because we think we're not worthy of feeling good. There are so many people out there thinking that they deserve the disease and the diagnosis, that they deserve to be alone, there's this collective unworthiness happening. That part of my mission is to be like, that's a lie. And so tonight, if there's even any thought of like, yeah, that was cool, that sprouting was cool, but oh my goodness, this summer is, I don't have time for that. No, like it just takes a few minutes for you. Do the jar, like literally lentils, chickpeas, I don't care. Like still keep the easiest, most simplest route that you can to stay connected. May that life force in the jar as you're eating it remind you of you're choosing you. It is your one step that you're taking towards health, wealth, love, peace. That's the one thing, one yes. And I think, like, I hope that helps. The rain and just that forgiveness, the worthiness, knowing that you're worth the health, you're worth showing up, you're worth the time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, letting go of grievances, reconnecting with friends and things like that, mending situations perhaps that may have gone awry. So I'm pretty sure you're helping a lot of people who are on this call this evening. So I do have to ask you, because I'm sure someone would like me to, what was the protocol? How much wheatgrass were you taking? When were you taking it? What else were you eating? But also, can you briefly walk us through how that manifested in terms of the cancer? So was it over months, over years? Like, what did you see as you took the wheatgrass? What happened, I guess, in your doctor's visits and your scans and things like that?
Yeah. So the reason why I picked 2 years, so I gave myself 2 years. I was at Hippocrates and I was sitting in the front row listening to every word. And it was stage 1. It was very small. And I asked the co-director of Hippocrates, like, if I really do this all in, like, do I have a chance? And number one, he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, you're going to be fine, kid. Number one, you have the joy factor. And number 2, give your body at least 2 years with this protocol. And the protocol is raw vegan. And so that's what I gave myself every single day. I left Hippocrates, it was like mid-July. And what was involved, one day at a time. It was so imperfect because it was also, remember, like a lot of this is not covered by the insurance. So it was like, I had to buy the juicer. And like I said, it was one tray at a time. but the most important part was learning how to fast. To me, fasting is very spiritual. And please, when I share about fasting, number one, if there's anyone with any kind of eating disorders, I'm asking you, please seek guidance from a counselor, a doctor, just making sure, like I choose my words wisely when it comes to fasting. But we learn where it's important to pause and allow your body to heal in itself. So in that, we would our first meal, like actual eating sprouts, the raw food, was like around 12:30 p.m. And so in the morning time, so I'm not a breakfast person now anymore. I've been trained where to break fast, I break my fast at with now I add foods. At the time I didn't, when I had the cancer, no food. So there was no foods involved, but you wake up, you drink lemon water. So it's lemon water first, wheatgrass shot on an empty stomach always, your green juice. We had access to, the sprouts. And then when I started growing my sprouts, I would make my own green juice with celery, cucumber. I added ginger, cilantro, with sunflower sprouts, pea sprouts, and any little like extra cayenne or whatever. And so that green juice was involved in the morning, eat lunch, and then another wheatgrass with another green juice, and then dinner. That was the main, like on a perfect day, that was what my day looked like. Now, if I had, appointments, or I was traveling, or I was in New York, that was like when I would order, and I would visit Rebecca, and I would like, I need a delivery, and I would get Perfect Foods. And if there was anything social, I was big on, I continued my fast. So fasting for me became very spiritual. One day, dinner, again, everything was raw. So I didn't have a dehydrator. So everything was sprouts, large, exotic, epic salads. Like I looked up every veggie, everything to make it like amazing. But I would, my dessert was like raw corn. I didn't cook anything. Nothing touched the stove. Except like boil water and stuff like that. So for a long time, it was basically a lot of grain food, meaning a lot of fiber, meaning a lot of bathroom. Also involved in that was a lot of colonics. I was doing colonics and enemas, wheatgrass enemas. I was doing wheatgrass implants. So everything was cleansing in every which way. I want you to think about the detoxification process that you want to take your body through. Whether if it's even, I need to share that this is not just for cancer. What I'm sharing is for like, if you find yourself constantly getting sick, if you have inflammation, chronic pain, like this also works. You're basically creating space for your body to heal, adding only life force, no cooking because it takes away the nutrients away. So we want everything alive in the food. I did 1 day a week. I did liquid nourishment fasting. We still practice that as an entrepreneur. I truly believe in water fasting and liquid nourishment. Fasting is important for mental clarity, for energy. So you pick 1 day, it has to be the same day. So the body is already expecting it and you don't get all the detox symptoms, and you only either drink juice, you can, fresh juice that you make, coconut water is allowed, water, obviously lemon water, things like that. So part of that protocol was the fasting, but then Hippocrates really doesn't do it, but then I started researching water fasting, and then that just really expedited some major amazing breakthroughs, not only physically but on a spiritual level. Doing guided, like I made sure I had a coach, and I made sure that I was guided and mentored with my water fasting, and did so safely. Everything that I'm sharing, please make sure that you do so with guide. And yeah, I see chronic pain. So this is a reminder, we are not meant to live on this earth in pain and disease and suffering the way we do. Like I need for, especially like as you're getting older, I'm 43 years old and my heart gets younger and my body, I truly believe we are on this earth to, yes, be a detective, investigate and unravel whatever it is. But this whole idea that, oh, as I get older, this is what's expected. You know, as we get older, we get sick, we're in pain. That is false. It's a lie. We are not meant to be addicted on medication. And so these protocols of these pauses, that's why I'm becoming like, I truly believe a detox expert. I love what Rebecca is teaching and provides for the community of teaching them about life force and living foods, because we think wellness is so expensive, and it's not. That's a lie. When you grow your own sprouts, I recognize on my protocol, when we were living just on sprouts, we were saving money so that when I had to come out through cash for I used to have my tests for my breast with thermography. I didn't do a lot of mammograms. I didn't do a lot of MRIs. It was testing through blood, and it was testing with thermography. I used to pay cash for ultrasounds. And so we literally would like calculate the money that would have been spent going out for things that are poison, for alcohol, for the dinners that literally take away energy and take away life. Here I am saving with food that give me life and give me healing. And so that is also a false belief that many of us, especially, you know, in communities, I'll never forget when my mom called me during COVID, and she finally, you know, she was suffering from arthritis. She was in fear. She was in New York, and she literally was having an anxiety attack. And she's like, "Fine, tell me about hypocrites." She's like, "Fine, tell me about hypocrites." And I flew out to New York, snatched her up, and we literally taught her the Hippocrates way. We were able to grab some finances. We made some moves and got her in Hippocrates so that she can also experience the power of sprouts and healing, and knowing that this way of life isn't crazy. And I'm not saying this way of life is forever for everyone, but if anyone is suffering or in pain, like, please, I'm really telling you, the protocol in itself, even for a few days or whatever, just like taking a break from the negative influences, negative patterns that one may have if you're in pain, for you to seek guidance, you know. And Rebecca and this community feels like it's an amazing space for that.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you explain briefly what is a wheatgrass enema? How often would someone do that? And then also, what is the wheatgrass? I think you said infusion, or
right.
wheatgrass
So
something else.
implant. All right. So wheatgrass enema. So basically what was happening while I was in the program in Hippocrates, we did an enema every single day. Enema means, you know, you take water, like you're basically allowing you make space so that through your, I don't want to be correct, but like your anus, you're literally putting water in, you're holding it so that you can flush out your digestive. It's phenomenal for any kind of, thank you, colon cleansing. But you're literally putting a tube in through, and you're allowing to flush out in your digestive system, right? But the difference with the wheatgrass enema is you use water, but you also put a little bit of the wheatgrass juice. So it really is to help even cleanse out even more. The implant, what we do with the implant, it's the wheatgrass juice, and the goal is you don't want it to let out. Like, you don't want it to. The longer you hold the wheatgrass juice in the implant, like your liver, like your organs are being cleansed. It's almost like it's washing out. So the longer you get to hold it, the better for you. So the implant for me in Hippocrates, whenever I go through the program, like the strict program, I was doing it every single day, twice a day, enemas every single day. When I went home, and because you want to make sure you're taking the correct probiotics, prebiotics, things like that, because you want to make sure that you're not messing up the microbiome. I was doing it once a week for the enemas, but implants I was still doing every single day. This was something where this was my life, right? So I made sure that the time that it took, it just became like such a ritual that I promise you, it, because of the circumstance and what I was doing, like I did it daily because of like, we wanted it healed fast. But for someone who is doing a preventative measures, once a week is perfect. Like it's fine. And again, the implant is just straight wheatgrass juice. You're holding it. The goal is like 12 minutes to try to hold it inside. It would absorb. And then sometimes like I wouldn't have to go to the bathroom, like it wouldn't release at all, which is good. And then other times it was just like I couldn't hold it, it would come out right away. And then with the enemas, yeah, the enemas is more water. There's more water involved and wheatgrass involved. So it helped me go to the bathroom.
Awesome, thank you. And two more questions. And if you all have
Mhm.
any last quick questions, please put them in the chat as we start to close. Something that you said that I thought was really important that Doug Evans talks about as well. You said that people should think about the money that they use when they're eating out, if they start this wheatgrass protocol and start to perhaps think it's expensive. And we often talk about health disparities and focus on poverty and people who don't have access to certain things, but we never talk about the flip side of that, perhaps the people who are professionals who do have the money and are using the money to eat all types of things that are unhealthy
Mhm.
because they can afford them. Even if we think about this brunch culture of people kind of dousing their bodies in alcohol every weekend and eating all of these unhealthy foods. One thing that comes up for many people when they start to make this switch to a healthier lifestyle is the idea of how do I celebrate if I'm not focusing it on food and going out to dinner and going out to eat and things like that. So the two questions that come from that is, how would you respond to a person like that? Like, how do you celebrate things if it's not focused on eating unhealthy foods or drinking alcohol? And then now that you're not on the strict protocol, what do you eat on a day-to-day basis?
Right. Um, that's a beautiful question, actually. I think society have brainwashed us to celebrate around food. Um, I am not a religious person. I'm very spiritual. But one thing I leaned into was Daniel's fast, and I'll never forget the verse where, it talks about how kings and queens, like overindulge and gluttony and everything, and just eating grass and water and being cleansed. Daniel, had breakthrough. So I feel that using that as an example, and also with my mentors. The other thing I'll never forget, one of my mentors mentioned, why were we brainwashed to celebrate your life? Like on our birthday, we are literally told, or we've been taught, let's celebrate you living with an overdose of sugar. And as you get older, get so hungover. Here's all this alcohol. Let's party, so that the next day, on your first day of really fully being that age, you feel hungover like crap. Like, why were we trained that way? When actuality, right now, everyone's focused on AI. I've learned nature's intelligence. In actuality, we are provided with so much to celebrate, and so many things when you focus on movement, when you focus on nature. And so for me, celebration, I did make a location. Like I made sure my wife and I lived in Miami, and we relocated to a more like a slower pace, nature-esque. So there's more swimming, paddleboarding, there's more options, hiking. So for me, celebrating isn't surrounded. I'll never forget when my first birthday, like when all this happened, when I was like, I just want avocado and a candle. They were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, I don't want cake. Like, what about a little piece? Just cheat. I'm like, no. Like, I truly believe we can change the conversation around what's celebrating and the holidays, and not feeling uncomfortable when you go into a gathering and there's games or there's activities that are that are more about connection, heart to heart, like you call it, like heart powered and heart centered connection. So potlucks, and I know Rebecca will share more, but like potlucks around like that are healthy and creative. And how about seasonal eating? That's so, speaking of like how I'm eating, I'm really focused on nature. I'm obsessed with eating with the sun. I'm I'm big on fasting, but also closing the kitchen when the sun goes down. Like I follow nature. I'm like I truly believe, I'm like, was I supposed to be a farmer? Like like the body is triggered when it's nighttime, that it's time to go to bed, it's time to start healing, and I need to make sure that I give it space and time. And so how I eat is still clean and plant-based. I started adding a little animal protein in my food, but it has to be, I call it like, it has to be a happy, organic, free range. I still eat my sprouts and my wheatgrasses daily. I have my Moana, I call it my Moana ritual. It's like a prayer when I juice my wheatgrass. I'm not as strict on the timing of everything, but I have a green juice every single day. I'm more exotic with my green juice. I have wellness shots. I'm big on, and that's one thing where I'm big on creating juices. I fuel myself with juices, tons of water, and nature. And I'm not big on like spending too much time in the kitchen just prepping. I remember I'm in Florida right now, so it's like big salads. Big, like if I'm going to socialize, I'm already trained. My palate is like, I'm not overindulging in the bread and all that stuff. It's just my body. I just don't feel good. I just don't feel good. I love foods that are going to love me back. And there's certain foods that just don't love me. And I know that. And I choose, it's not that I'm missing out. Since my diagnosis, I haven't had a New York pizza. I'm from the Bronx, and I just have no desire. No, but you gotta have a bite. No, I don't. When I go on vacation, I focus on wellness vacations. Like when I go to vacation, like it's not escaping. May you, everyone on this call, understand, you do not have to, may you create a life. What's healthy is creating a life that you don't need a vacation from. But when you do on vacation, may it give you life. May it give you life. And so my eating habits now are not, I'm not as like strict of like, oh my God, reading like all the ingredients. I'm like, oh my God, what's in it? I was that person for a little bit. It's more about, I'm chewing. I still chew really slowly. I'm praying over my food. If I do have, like, if I'm eating cooked foods, I have to have like salad, my sprouts right before. That's very important to me. I absolutely, I'm still completely like, my body rejects dairy. There's absolutely no dairy allowed. What else? There's no like, I don't, I'm not big on the titles. Like I hate being, are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? I'm like, I eat real food and I'm following nature's intelligence with love.
Wow, thank you. And so in closing, Rebecca, I know that this is your friend, and so I'm going to add your spotlight if there's anything that you want to say. And then also, Natalia, after that, if you want to share your social media or your website or anything like that. I know that you offer wellness retreats. Maybe we can come to one as a HeartSmarts group or anything. So so first, Rebecca's going to give you her love.
Thank you.
Your sister, and then you can share that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I cannot give enough love to Natalia. I think that we are like soul sisters. When we met, I was like, that was it for you. And I mean, I think Natalia has the heart of gold, so everybody probably feels that way when they meet her. But I just want to say that, yeah, your dedication and your passion speaks through, and it's the discipline for me, and I think everybody on this call, and that you learned that was ingrained in you, and also like your passion for self-love that reminds us that that is the root of it. So if there's anything that anybody takes from this call, it's those, I feel like those two things that Natalia, that's her gift, is to like, she's rooting for all of us. Like anytime that you feel like you're down on yourself and you're giving up on yourself, just imagine Natalia saying, no, don't give up on yourself. Like you deserve love and you're worthy of love. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think of is Natalia like screaming at me with love.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's funny because I do teach movement, and you've experienced it where it's movement and mantras, and so part of the healing was it's not only the affirmations and believing it. Like for me, it was also putting the affirmations within my body and the cells. So when I say my wheatgrass ritual and stuff, it really is like I am moving my body. I teach women like I am powerful beyond measure. I am stronger than I think, and so it truly is what Rebecca says, self-love. Like, may whatever journey you decide, whatever route you decide in your healing path, may self-love be the forefront of every single journey. I truly, truly believe that. And because when we choose love in ourselves and forgiveness, when we have this self-compassion for ourselves, it just naturally will happen for others. There's a compassion for others, and we're just nicer people to other people. So we become the lighthouse, so whatever lesson a disease is trying to teach you and wave at you, whatever the health situation is, may you understand, or may it come to you as your teacher, and just start asking, give it a personality, a name, and just be like, okay, like what's the lesson here? And then may you move forward and take action with love.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Just in full transparency, everyone, I think Rebecca asked Natalia to do this on Friday. And Rebecca and I were just like, who would be a good speaker for next week? And Rebecca said she had the perfect person, and she was right. You were the perfect person for this. We thank you so much for your time, for your generosity. Rebecca, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that I remember texting you, I'm sure I have the perfect person. It just hasn't come to me yet. And then like 3 minutes later, I was like, oh, Natalia.
And I went on your website and I was like, oh my goodness. And so we're going to do something. I hope you maybe offer virtual versions of what you just described with your affirmations, because we'd love to do that with you. But thank you again so much for sharing. I know you've touched so many people. You've definitely touched me. And I'm just going to unmute everyone, and we'll just formally thank you for your time this evening. So everybody, you're free to unmute. And thank you so much, Natalia, for joining us.
Appreciate you, Natalia.
Very much.
Natalia,
Very lovely. Inspirational story, Natalia.
Thank you.
Alive with love.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much. I learned so much. It made me feel better about changing my
So
lifestyle. That's
inspirational. Thank you. May God bless you.
definitely.
Yes.
I
Amen.
learned a lot tonight, Natalia.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to unmute once, because people are asking for your social media and your website.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Only because I'm very passionate about this, all those thank yous, my honor. And I think seeing so many people of color, minorities, my mission really is, I don't understand why we're not educated more on this wellness life and growing our own food. And so it is an honor that this community is so open, and you've created this space for them. Please, if there's anything that I can do, I would love to teach a class for you guys. Like, I'll go on and we can have our own class together. My social medias, I am Wellness Warrior. I am Wellness Warrior is my social media. And you can go to warriorlifecode.com. And yes, I actually have a free challenge coming up. So if you message me on social media or through Warrior Life Code, if you enter your email, please make sure I can send you some information, or maybe we can connect, Rebecca, and we can have a class, an empowerment class. But I really am excited that that there's such a passion for wellness and healing and health, and it's an honor to be here. So thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oops, Rebecca, you're on mute.
I just want to say before everybody goes, because I know it's like we can't top off this experience with Natalia.
What do you mean before everybody goes?
Oh, some people were saying that they were going to leave. So before everybody goes.
Nobody's going.
Nobody's going. And also before Natalia goes, because I'm sure she's busy. I'm going to talk about it at the end, but before you go, I'll say that I'm doing I would love this group to do a greens challenge, a super greens challenge. It's something that I've like experimented with, and I found to really be a good like gateway to like a raw foods challenge, rather than being completely raw at first, to just do like adding wheatgrass into your diet, adding the sprouts into your diet, adding the microgreens into your diet every day to some degree. And basically just getting a package and or growing it yourself and doing it together. So, and I actually would like to do that, like starting ASAP. Like if you guys are inspired to start that like tomorrow even, because you're gonna have your sprouts and you can get your wheatgrass in. But I'm for sure gonna be starting next week. When we meet next week. So next week is on Wednesday. So if you guys can get your like supplies together and figure out what you want to start growing and or buying from us, we can start like looking at what to get. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I would love Natalia to be, I don't know, when are you starting your challenge, Natalia?
Oh, my challenge is a 5-day. It's a free challenge. It's this Sunday it starts.
Starting this Sunday? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a good thing. If you guys wanted to get started and get ready with some greens and get some like shipments beforehand, then you can start Natalia's thing on Sunday. So we'll talk, but those of you who are interested, I would love for you to somehow, I suppose, email me. I'm trying to think what the best way, if you're interested in the challenge. You guys know my email, perfectfoodsinc@gmail. And then I'm going to forward to, and also, you can to Natalia too. And we'll do this together. I'm going to talk about it at the end, just like what you can order and what you can do. But I think it's a really good call to action, because together what we're going to do is break it down for you. A lot of you are worried about, okay, but this is super inspiring, amazing, I need to do it, but how? And so what we're going to do is teach you how to do it in a so like easy and joyful and like fun way together as a group, and just give you like exactly what to do and when and how, and let's say you miss it, here's what you can do instead type of thing, and inspire you through it. So that's like what I really would love to do with you guys, and to do it together with the two of us would be so fun. So this is how the magic happens. We just put it together.
Yeah, Rebecca, I would love that. The challenge really is the empowerment in the morning activations with intermittent fasting. So to combine that with what you're doing with greens is beautiful.
Perfect. Love it.
And so all of this will be sent in an email to those who registered. So if you got the Zoom link randomly and you didn't register, please register for the program, and then we'll send all of the information out. So thank you so much again, Natalia. We really appreciate you. And everyone has your information, so I'm sure you'll be hearing from some people. But we heard what you said, that you want to do something with HeartSmarts, so we'll definitely be in contact.
I would love that. I'm serious. Please, I would love that. Yeah,
I'm serious too, so yes.
Okay, good. I'll send you like a YouTube clip so you can see what I mean with the movement, but it's all levels. Please don't be like, you'll see me hopping and leaping, but all levels invited. Rebecca knows it's the movement and affirmations are so empowering, and you can do it from a chair, you can do it anywhere. So I'm serious. Let's make that happen.
Awesome. And you have my email, so you can just send it to me as well. So awesome. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to take you off the screen. And then Rebecca, is there another person?
He couldn't. He said maybe he'll come next week.
Okay.
So
So it's all you and nobody left.
Nobody. Yes. Okay. So let's take a breath. Whew. 2 more. One more. Whew. Okay. Thank you everybody for being here, taking the time, staying with me through this on this evening. And I hope that you all are with us and ready to learn a little bit more. What I want to do is teach about more of the nitty-gritty about wheatgrass, and then also show you how to do it, where to get it, and how to actually implement this into your life. Does that sound good? Is that what we want? Okay. So here is the basics. So we've got wheatgrass is here. What is wheatgrass? Wheatgrass is, you can see here, these seeds are the same seeds that would grow to become wheat, but it's grown at its 10-day-old grass stage. So this is what it looks like when it's 10 days old. It would grow into a huge wheat stalk, but at 10 days old, it looks like grass. And at this stage, it has almost all of the vitamins and minerals and the enzymes and the nutrients that it would need to grow into that large adult plant, but condensed into this one little tiny leaf. And because it's the baby of the plant, it has tons of enzymes. And we've talked about enzymes before, right? So you can see here that this is what the wheatgrass is, and it makes sense, right? When we have these large animals that have been grazing, that just spend their entire life just grazing on grass as the only form of nutrition, that grass really has, and it's a plant, so it converts light's energy into food, like the sun's light into energy, and makes its own food. So if you think about this as really the primary producer, it's the ultimate plant, the ultimate living organism that provides life for all life. And we get to cut it up and juice it and drink it by the ounce. That's why we call it green gold. Does that make sense? Does that sink in? That's why we call it green gold, because it's literally taking sun's light and putting it into our body. So we get to drink sun's light when we're drinking it. And 1 ounce is equivalent to having about 2.5 pounds of green vegetables. So when we know that we need to be having greens, we know that we need to be having chlorophyll. That's good for alkalizing the body. But how do we get the amount in that we need? Wheatgrass is the key. So a lot of people, even on their cancer journeys or on blood pressure journeys or whatever it is, they're to go to a nutritionist and they'll say you have to have about, I've said this before, you have to have about 7 servings in order to be in that healing state of vegetables. And by having wheatgrass and microgreens, you're now having it in a concentrated form. And that's not all, okay? It's not just about the concentration, not even in the least. There's something about wheatgrass that is beyond what we even understand. It's called the growth factor. And they found it when they were given chickens and other farm animals that were sick. They gave it spinach and they gave it kale and all other things. But instead, the sprouted grains and the grass was what actually helped it heal the fastest. So there's something about grass itself that's sprouted that helps us to heal and to regenerate ourselves and to improve our health much more than any other green than we even understand. So there's something very special about it at this baby stage that's more than we even understand. And it's something that we've seen time and time again, remarkable and miraculous, that's a new word, case studies and stories of people who have healed themselves. Their bodies have healed themselves, just like Natalia, just like a customer of mine that was going to speak today, and I think he's going to speak tomorrow, that his father healed himself from heart disease. That's the reason why I wanted him to come on, was because he was, he basically died at the hospital because he had a heart attack, and they brought him back to life miraculously. And they just said, you know what, you're going raw. He went to the exact same place as Natalia, and he went raw. And then he, drank his wheatgrass every day, and his blood pressure and his levels were better than the doctors. So these stories happen, and they happen. Why? Because people are disciplined and they're committed to themselves. And that comes, it's easier said than done, right? Like for myself, for people on here, it's like, okay, you could say it all you want, but how do you actually do it? And I think Natalia hit the nail on the head with self-love. If you're not doing it, it's because you're lacking self-love. So if we could start from there and just acknowledge that, then we can get into the nitty-gritty of like, okay, you're at the point of self-love, you're ready to do it. Now let's figure out how to do it. Now I want to show you something cool. So this is my juicer. This is my stainless steel commercial juicer that my father, Harley, the owner and founder of Perfect Foods, designed. And this is the juicer that you'll see at the local juice bars, right? So it's a commercial one. This is probably not the one that you guys would buy unless you have something that you're going to be juicing wheatgrass a lot, all day, every day, maybe for a few people in your family, and you're willing to invest. This one is like $697. So it's an expensive juicer, and I probably wouldn't recommend it for a beginner. But this is what I have because I'm a wheatgrass princess. So on here, my sister wrote for us because we were lacking in our wheatgrass, lacking in self-love for the whole family. So she motivated us, and she wrote on here, I guess you can't really read it, but it says, "Don't forget to drink your wheatgrass and eat microgreens." And it's right here on the juicer in the kitchen. We can't miss it every single morning. And then on the fridge, it says probiotics, wheatgrass, microgreens. It has we have little Post-it notes all over the house that she put to make sure that we remember to take everything. Cute, pretty cute, right? And you can see how could it be that the wheatgrass people need those reminders, because we're human too. And like, it's just, everybody does. So don't feel bad about yourself if you feel like you need to put those extra reminders on and like really motivate yourself and get the support that you need in order to do it. Like, that's okay, as long as you're actively trying to stay on that goal. The other thing is, like, we all have waves in our lives. So sometimes we're doing really great, sometimes we don't. We do these up and downs. And Natalia is saying like, no, that comes from self-love if you're doing that up and down. But what I want to say on that is like, it's okay to reach out for help when you feel like you're feeling off and you don't know how to get back on. Like, that's what we're here for. Okay, so this is the wheatgrass juicer that's commercial. And then we have this juicer, which is probably the one that I would recommend you all to get, which is our Dr. Squeeze Wheatgrass Green Queen juicer. This one is really great. It's super small. You can see it's like, doesn't take up a lot of room. You could put it this way on your counter. Doesn't take up a lot of room. It's light. It only has a few parts. So when you take it apart, it's very easy to use and easy to clean. And I would probably recommend this one for all new wheatgrass drinkers. If you don't have a juicer already at all, then we do have a fruit and vegetable juicer that juices wheatgrass and fruits and vegetables. And that's our Try Best juicer. So I can show you that on our website. That juices all the fruits and vegetables and wheatgrass and sprouts. That's if you don't have a juicer at all yet, and you want a juicer that also juices wheatgrass. If you already have some type of juicer, like a Breville or like a centrifugal one, that's vertical. So, and I can show you visuals of this, but I'm just kind of getting into it. So one that is vertical versus horizontal, you guys see the difference? This one's like horizontal. There are many juicers that are vertical. You put it in and it just like spins around. Those are centrifugal juicers, and those juicers don't do well with wheatgrass, and they don't really do well with sprouts either. They're too leafy, they're too fibrous, and they're just going to get wrapped up, and nothing's going to come out. So if you have a juicer like that, then this is the perfect supplement for juicing wheatgrass. If you don't have a juicer at all, then I have a Try Best juicer that I would recommend for you to get. Any questions on juicers?
And there's one question that says, what about the Nama juicer?
Great question. So the Nama, you can actually chop up the wheatgrass into little half inch or 1 inch chops, and then throw it into the Nama and it'll juice. But you do have to juice like 4 ounces or so in order to really get anywhere. You can't just do like 1 ounce, not much is going to come out. So what you can do with the Nama is you can juice up a bunch and then freeze it. So I'll show you this. We just did this morning. My sister just did this morning. She really should be leading this class. She's she's been on a mental health journey, and she has been healing herself and using wheatgrass and broccoli sprouts really hardcore recently. So she's doing all the things that we're talking about really hardcore, which is really inspiring to see. Yeah, so she just juiced up all the extra wheatgrass that we had, and then she froze them in these little 1 ounce cups and lids and put them in a container and put them in a freezer. And then what you do with these is just put them in a warm bowl of water for like 5-10 minutes, let it thaw out, and then just take it out, shake it up a little bit, and drink it. So the frozen wheatgrass is about 85% as good as the fresh, and it's much more convenient than having to dirty up a juicer every single day. So those of you who are beginners and want like the easiest first step, I would say to do the frozen. And we actually sell it already pre-juiced and frozen. So if you don't want to even go through the process of having to juice it yourself and then freezing it, we deliver, if you're in our tri-state area, in our delivery region, we actually deliver the already pre-juiced frozen shots. So we make it really, really, really easy for you. My dad told me to slow down, and now I'm talking really fast. I'm sorry.
Well, there were some other questions, and your dad has been awesome answering them in the chat, but some people are not reading the chat. So there were some questions about, can you put the wheatgrass in a smoothie? That's one question. Another question is, can you put it in the fridge and save it for a couple of days? Your dad said no, don't do that. But yeah, so those are 2 questions that you might want to review.
Okay, so in a smoothie, wheatgrass is really, like, they're very strict about saying wheatgrass is best on its own. First of all, it's very concentrated, right? Like I said, 1 ounce is equivalent to 2.5 pounds of green vegetables. Imagine how long it would take you to eat 2.5 pounds of green vegetables, and now you're just having it in one shot, juiced without even the fiber. This is like not really a normal situation. So that's why we like to have it in its own food category on its own. It's really drank like medicine. So putting it in with a smoothie, like as if you're just adding a little bit of green powder, it's not the same thing. Fresh wheatgrass juice or frozen wheatgrass juice versus green powders is like night and day. I really want to emphasize that. If you could just throw in some green powder into a smoothie and it barely like changes the flavor, it barely does anything for you. It's like, you know, wheatgrass, you'll taste it, is my point. So I don't want it to ruin your smoothie, basically, number one. And number two, when you combine it with banana and like heavier, sweeter fruits, it can make you feel nauseous. So I would prefer you to have it completely on its own by the shot. And also if you have trouble with the flavor, despite the fact that it's much sweeter than you would expect. So I don't want to scare anybody away with the flavor, because I go through phases, and I think everybody does with it a little bit, like as your body, depending on what you ate the day before, is what really my philosophy is. If you eat something really bad the day before, then you like are very like don't want the wheatgrass. But if you're feeling healthy and you drink the wheatgrass, then your body's like in flow with it. So anyway, when your body is healthy, you don't respond too poorly to it. In fact, you start really liking it and you start really craving it. Especially if you drink it regularly and then you stop drinking it. I know my dad can attest to this, that like you start really craving it and saying like, I need my wheatgrass. I want my wheatgrass. I've had a lot of customers tell me that I got them on a regimen and they were like, I need my wheatgrass fixed. Like, I don't feel the same without it. And like, it really helps me to boost my energy. So that was a tangent. The original question was smoothies. I would have it on its own. What was the second question?
The other question was, how long should you keep it? So I've heard you should drink it right away if you can, but someone was saying, can you keep it in the fridge for a few days?
Okay, so the thing with wheatgrass is that the enzymes are there, so we want to have it as quickly as possible because the enzymes really are the magic. So the reason why the powders and the other bottled things aren't the magic is because they aren't freshly juiced. That is one of the main reasons why wheatgrass is so powerful. So yes, having it immediately within like 15 minutes of it being juiced is best case scenario. Anything other than that, you're risking losing all the enzymes and a lot of the hard work that you put in to juice it. Why make it sit there if you could just have the full thing right away? Now, as far as convenience goes, because I understand it's hard, especially if you're going to try having it twice a day, to drink it immediately. So the frozen is great for the afternoon shots. So I a lot of times recommend for you to get fresh wheatgrass, juice it in the morning fresh, and then have frozen wheatgrass shots that are in the freezer so that you can have them when you don't feel like juicing it. If, let's say, one thing that my sister recently has been doing, because she'll juice up a bunch of wheatgrass for the whole family, and we all don't wake up at the same time, and she doesn't want to have to keep it going and then wash it, whatever. So one thing that we do, it is cheating, but it's still being realistic. We have these mason jars, these little tiny mason jars. And when you fill it up to the top, it reduces the oxidation, and you close it, and like whatever, within like a half an hour or an hour, we'll still drink it. Is it as good as it being drinking within 15 minutes? Absolutely not. But as far as like, we always strive for that, but life gets in the way sometimes, and I'd rather you have that than nothing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I just wanted to say to everyone, the other wheatgrass juicer that Rebecca showed, the green and white one, I have a version of that that's stainless steel, but similar. It takes literally 5 minutes to juice the wheatgrass and 5 minutes to wash the machine, because all of those parts don't come off, just a few of them do, that you need to wash. So it's actually very convenient. It's not the same as having to clean the large juicer that some of you may be familiar with. So it's very doable to have the shot in the morning and the shot in the afternoon, and probably take up 10 to 15 minutes of your time to do it each time. So it's not as cumbersome as many of you are probably thinking about your juicers that you have and having to take them apart and how time consuming that is. That's not how the wheatgrass juicer is at all.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And it's true. And I am a big fan of this machine because it is super duper easy. And I kind of want to show you, but I found this juicer in my basement and I don't know if it's like a good one or not. But regardless, you can see here, you put the wheatgrass in here, you turn it on, it spirals over here. The fiber will come out here and the juice just comes out And that's it. You just have the liquid gold. It's really, really easy. It takes like 3 minutes for it to juice, and then another 3 minutes for you to wash it out. And within 5 or 6 minutes, you have your wheatgrass and it's clean, and you can go on with your day. And you immediately make a ritual of it. I think Natalia can attest to this too. A little while ago, I started to make a prayer on it and like just say, thank you, wheatgrass, for giving me all the vitamins and the minerals that I need. Thank you, wheatgrass, for providing me with what I need to heal myself, and for giving me the strength to have a great day today. And it just like centers me in having it's a really good ritual to start your day, that you know that you're starting it better than you could ever start it. You know, I do want to make you guys a shot. I just don't know if this juicer is good or not. So I'm going to juice it in this one, but I'm going to mute myself. So just ask some, or you know what, look with me. So I'm going to put this juicer on. Okay, with the wheatgrass, you can get it in a tray, or you can get it already cut in a bag. This isn't what it looks like, but this is what I have. So then it'll be pre-cut in like a Ziploc bag, a gallon bag that will give you about like 10 ounces worth of stuff. So this is what the wheatgrass would look like.
And I just want to add that I bought both of them the first time around. The tray makes you feel really fancy, like you have a juice bar in your house, and it looks really cool in the fridge, but it takes up a lot of space in the fridge. So if you already have a pretty packed fridge, I wouldn't recommend getting the tray. I actually find, for whatever reason, that the wheatgrass in the bags juices better. I don't know if that's in my head, but I felt like me having to cut it from the tray and put it in the juicer, it didn't juice as well. It juiced well, but I felt like the one in the bag, for whatever reason, is just easier to store, easier to juice as well.
I couldn't agree more. I definitely recommend to get the already cut bags, period. Okay, so let me just show you. Put it in here. You can see here, the juice is coming out here and the fiber this way. You can see I actually took the fiber and put it back in. That's just a way to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck. So you're going to get as much juice as possible by taking whatever the fiber is and putting it right back into the juicer. You're going to be doing the same exact thing with this juicer. I just don't want to, in case it's not, there's something's up with it, I don't want to make a fool of myself. But it's the same exact thing. Putting the wheatgrass in here, the fiber will come out here, and then there's a little spout thing that comes out and the wheatgrass will come out. So very, very simple. You want to make sure you have 2 different cups. So one for the juice, where the juice is going to come out, and one for where the fiber is going to come out. And that's it. Now you got your wheatgrass shot. So you saw how quick that was. And this shot is about probably 1.5 ounces, but I want to show you. I really, really do love to drink my wheatgrass in a shot glass. I have these shot glasses that I ordered that say the green shot on them. It says like Perfect Foods, the green shot. Super cute. So if anybody wants these, I do have some left. So again, email me. I'll see what I can do as a prize or something. If you do the greens challenge, I'll send you a wheatgrass, a shot glass. So yeah, so I always do my prayer on this and I drink it. I like to put a little bit of cinnamon. I drink the shot and then I lick a little bit of cinnamon after to just completely like clear my palate, and or take a bite of lemon or a bite of apple or something to clear the palate. But otherwise, just drink it slowly, swish it around. I'm going to actually show you how I drink it, even though it's really too late to be drinking it, but that's okay. I think I can handle it. So I guess everybody make your own individual prayer, as we're all making a prayer right now. And then what I do is I swish it around in my gums for a few moments. just because that's the first form of digestion, and it breaks down through the enzymes that are in your mouth and your saliva. And it's good for oral hygiene and for your gums, really good for your gums. And then you drink it down. So I'll show you. Someone said, does the wheatgrass stain your teeth? It does make it a little bit green for a second, but then it goes away. And no, if anything, it makes it white. And this was really, really good wheatgrass, super sweet. So yeah, don't be worried about the flavor. What else?
And there was a question about the bag. I think it cost $18 for the bag.
$18.50. But also, before anybody buys anything, I made a special discount code for you guys again, because I'm crazy. HeartSmarts 10%, which we overdid ourselves last time, and I'm overdoing myself again, but I'm realizing that it's like, to me, it's like my way of giving back to you guys as a community. And if there's anything that I can do as a company and as an individual to give back to give to the community, this is like my, in Hebrew, we call it tzedakah. It's like my charity or love or giving to a community. I want to give to you guys. So another 10% off that I'm giving specifically to you guys, HeartSmarts, a code that's only for you guys. It's HeartSmarts 10. And that is for your purchase of stuff for the Greens Challenge. And I'm going to go through on the website, just like what I recommend to get. And just like the hows and the whats, but any questions before I do that?
There was a question about how long does it last? And I guess you can answer, but I'll also answer as someone who's purchased it. So I bought 2 bags the Thursday after we had after we had the first meeting, and I still have 1 full bag left. So for me, I think like 1 bag can last me a week and a half to 2 weeks, and that's juicing or using the wheatgrass juice twice a day, but it's just me that's using it. So I think like 2 bags can be like maybe 2 to 3 weeks for a person. I don't know if you're supposed to keep it that long, but that's how long it's been lasting for me.
Okay, so 1 bag. All right, let me get into the website really quick. 1 bag should give you 10 ounces or 10 shots of wheatgrass. So if it's lasting you for like 1 to 2 weeks, then you're probably only having 1 ounce a day, which is okay. But like, unless you're having more, and then that would be interesting. Are you having more than 1 ounce a day?
Yes.
So I don't know. I'll
start paying more attention, because I actually use a measuring cup for it. So I know that I'm getting the ounce in the morning and the ounce at night. But I also had some left over from the last time. I forgot that. So maybe I started it later than when it came.
Yeah. So one bag should most likely only last you for a week and a half, 10 days if you're having 1 shot every day. And that's okay if you're just starting with 1 shot every day to like work your way up. That's really okay. But if you're going to be doing more like what Natalia was doing, like a real therapeutic protocol, then you need 3 pounds a week. In order for you to have 4 ounces a day, you need 3 bags a week. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you inside the website some resources now. I put some links into the website. So y'all know 800wheatgrass.com. And then if you go to shop, my favorite thing to use is Quick Order. You see here, it's just under shop. Oops. On the drop down, it says Quick Order here. So you can just pick how much you want. So let's say you just want a bag of the wheatgrass, 1 pound bag versus 1 tray. 1 bag is $18.50, 1 tray is $24. I really would recommend to get the bag. So if you want to just start off small, just get 1 pound of wheatgrass. If you're in our delivery region, you can get the frozen wheatgrass. The least amount that we deliver is 21 ounces. 50 ounces, you get a little bit of a discount. And 100 ounces, this is like for a month's supply of having 1 or 2 ounces a day. And 100 ounces if you like know you want to do this for a long time and you want to get the biggest discount, it's $2.75 an ounce. I would recommend to get this one or this one, depending on like, if you want to just start a little bit or go right into it. This, and then we didn't really talk so much about the microgreens, but I wanted to show, let's see. The microgreens are, I made a beautiful salad while Natalia was talking, and with the sprouts, and we're going to get to talking about the sprouts in a second. I just want to kind of brain dump all my stuff on you guys. In this beautiful salad, this is what a raw food salad and a raw food diet would look like. This is what a day in the life of the Greens Challenge or my raw food program, which we'll talk about next week, would look like. You have your sunflower microgreens, you have the raw corn that Natalia was talking about, you have your broccoli microgreens, you have your radish and your broccoli sprouts that you guys grew, and I even have some red cabbage sauerkraut that's fermented for the gut health. So this is a really, and I have tahini dressing on top. I don't know if you guys use tahini or not, but it's a really delicious, creamy sesame butter dressing. So that's what I have for dinner tonight. And this is what I would love for your salads and your plates to look like, whether it's completely a salad or you have some type of plant-based food on the side with your sprouts on the side. This is what every meal should look like: abundance of greens, and making this be like the foundation of your plate rather than just like a little sprinkle on the side. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
there's a question asking if you can take apart the wheatgrass juice or the green one so that they can see what the parts are and what it would look like if you had to clean it.
Yes, definitely. So let me just finish my thought on this. This is the ways that you can get the other greens. And I do recommend for like the Greens Challenge for you to get at least like a 1/4 pound of the sunflower to try, because the sunflower greens are much harder to grow. And I would love for you all to grow all the things like Natalia was saying, for you to grow them yourself. Like that's always been our goal, is to teach people how to be sustainable themselves. Is that going to happen overnight? No. Do I want you to fall in love with eating this way and get inspired to do it? Yes. So I think the best way to do that is to just get some stuff delivered to you and start like falling in love with it. And then you'll get the confidence and the inspiration to start really like growing it yourself long term. Does that make sense? Okay, so these are the different things that you can pick. I would say to get like a pound of wheatgrass and or the frozen wheatgrass, get a 1/4 pound or a pound of sunflower. I usually do a pound of sunflower. The pea definitely you would want to get, because those are, you know, oh, actually I do have some here. So these are the snow pea shoots. The snow pea shoots, these are snow peas, and they have tons of fiber and they're kind of sweet and yummy. Yeah, they're made just from the same peas that you know of, the snow peas that you love, like sugar snaps. That's what these are made of. These are the broccoli that these are broccoli microgreens. The ones that you made are the sprouts. They're both good. And then this is like our color mix that comes with, this is more fun to put like on avocado toast and get tons of different flavors. So this is a purple radish and other radish and cilantro and buckwheat. So this is a, yeah, this is a combo of everything. Okay, that's everything I wanted to share with you. Then we also have the juice that Natalia was talking about. The green juice, that's the Hippocrates green juice. That's with celery, cucumber, sunflower sprouts and pea sprouts. We also have that juiced and frozen. So if you're inspired to like try that juice, you can potentially try that juice. Okay, so let me get to the questions. Let me show you how to take apart this juicer.
And for those of you in other states, yes, they can ship to you in other states.
Yeah. Okay, so this machine, you can see here, this is like the nose piece. And then inside the nose piece is this white gasket, this clear white gasket. That's important to be there. So that's one piece. Then you've got this little guy that just slides in and out. You can see here. slides in and out. Then we've got the auger. Okay, yeah, see, there's something up with this one. We got the auger here, and then we've got the top here. So basically, these are the pieces that you would have undone. You would wash them off a little bit, and then to re-put it in, lock this guy in, go like that, put the auger in, this guy on, and I'm sure my dad is like wanting to say something because he designed this machine, but I told him not until the end. Okay, and then just putting this on righty tighty, lefty loosey, get it onto the threads. And that's it. Pretty quick, right?
Yep.
Actually, there's one piece that's missing. This is the only last piece, and this is important. This is the piece that you put, that this is just, the wheatgrass goes in here, the juice falls here, and then you can put the cup under here. And the wheatgrass just pours right into it.
And someone was asking about the pound of wheatgrass. Is that what's in the bag, or does that come already as a juice?
The pound of wheatgrass is what's in the bag, the grass itself, not the juice.
All right. Any other questions about wheatgrass? Oh, I wanted to ask you, if someone is currently eating the standard American diet, fried food, dairy, meat, all of that, should they first try to get off of that before starting a wheatgrass regimen?
No, I don't think so at all. I think it's a really good thing to supplement. In fact, it's funny because for a long time I was thinking, okay, let me just talk to vegans. But then I was like, I feel like it's really the people who aren't vegan, who are barely taking, who are just standard American diet. These are the right people to be drinking wheatgrass because you're barely getting your greens in anyway. This is a good way to combat the other stuff that you're eating. And it's a good first step. A beautiful analogy is like when we feel overwhelmed and we feel like things aren't working well, we immediately go into like taking things out, like change your diet, start nitpicking about the things that you don't like about yourself, and start changing things about yourself. And everything is about like taking things away and changing and then like you start to take away your joy when you start doing that. You're not eating the things that you like, you're not like, you're nitpicking things about yourself and constantly being negative to yourself. When in reality, a really good way to be healthy is to like flush your whole system with good things. So adding in good things, I think, is the healthiest way to start this journey, rather than focusing on taking things away. Adding in something positive is a good way. Like one day you'll realize that there's no room for the bad stuff. So this is a really good way to start.
Okay. If they make the wheatgrass at home, would you suggest that they can also freeze it and would still get that 85% potency from it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit less, like maybe like 80, or just because we've like flash freeze it in our facility, we juice it and freeze it immediately. But it's still going to be very good. Like the frozen that we made this morning, I had, and it was excellent, and it wasn't in our flash freezer or anything. So it's definitely still a good deal.
Right. And then, do you have any suggestions for those who want to sprout their wheatgrass or grow it at home?
Yes. So let's see, what can I tell you about that? It's important to get good seeds. So we have our wheat seeds on our website. You can do it, the easiest, most inexpensive way to do it, as my father always talks about, is just using like a tin tray, like one of those food tin trays, and putting whatever soil you can get from a nursery, a local nursery, and then just, sprouting those wheat seeds like we just learned how to sprout, and then putting them on top of the tray and watering them twice a day. So, and then just, allowing them to be under a light. Now, if you want to make really perfect wheatgrass and you want to know that you're doing it the right way, we do have, again, a wheatgrass growing kit, which is excellent. And it gives you like Perfect Foods wheatgrass quality grass. And it comes with, first of all, there's a video here for you to watch. So 800wheatgrass.com, wheatgrass grow kit. This is an excellent video that anybody who's going to think about growing wheatgrass should watch this like 3 or 4 times before you even think about it. And then this is what it comes with. It comes with the black trays, it comes with the seeds and the soil, a grow light, and something to water it with. So if you are looking to grow wheatgrass, this would be the thing to get. Otherwise, kind of piecemeal it together, and feel free to ask in our Facebook group any ways to piecemeal it together if you don't want to buy the kit.
And there was a question about whether you can freeze the actual grass, and your dad was answering it, but if you can answer it for the whole group.
Well, I'm curious with how he answered it, because I recently experimented with it and I did freeze the grass, and it, interestingly enough, was amazing in this juicer, and it tasted delicious. Now, I don't know how exactly it juices in the plastic ones, so I think it should, it just might not be the best. I know in my stainless steel one it works really well, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly how well it will work. Definitely worth experimenting with like half of your bag or something at one point. If you don't use it all, experiment with your juicer and see how it works. Okay, my dad said it juices fine in both. Okay, fine. So then yes, it works.
And what about barley grass? Is that good to drink also?
Oh, that's a great question. Barley grass is great. And as we were, as Ann Wigmore was like learning about wheatgrass, she did a little test with animals to see like what grass was the best to use, and all the animals ran towards the wheatgrass because it's the sweetest. But she knows also that the barley grass and all of the grain grasses are really good for you. Wheatgrass happens to be the most palatable. But I want to give my dad an opportunity to come on, because I'm sure he's at the edge of his seat, just to share his last words of wisdom.
Yeah, everything has been. Hi, everyone. I love you guys. I don't have a lot to add because the program has been excellent, but I have a little to add, and I hope that you'll pay close attention to these two things, and they're very related. One is, like, there's been a lot of talk about loving the wheatgrass. It's got a, and if we go back, we talked about the placebo effect, or believing that the wheatgrass is gonna work. So it's important, but it's like, how do you just believe that it's gonna work? It's like you have to really believe it. So one thing that you can do is to read about people who've been using it and got benefits from it and got cured from it. So you can honestly believe that the wheatgrass is going to help you. I could tell you all kinds of stories of people that were ill and cured themselves, but they're all anecdotal. So you have to look into it yourself. And the other thing that's very, very important is that if someone is ill, someone has cancer or any degenerative disease, and they're using wheatgrass to cure themselves, and they are better, getting better or feeling better, you cannot stop using it. It seems like when you're drinking the wheatgrass, it stops the cancer from growing, but it doesn't stop it from spreading. I don't know how this works, but there's been many times in my career that somebody drank a lot of wheatgrass, and even the doctor said that they don't even have cancer anymore. And then they stopped for a relatively short time, and not only did it come back, but it came back with a vengeance. And I've been beside many a deathbed where the person said that they can't believe that for 5 years or 10 years, they drank it every day and it was fine. And they went away for 1 week on vacation without it, and now that's it. It's spread all over and they're gonna die. So if you're using wheatgrass successfully to combat degenerative disease and it's working, you have to continue to use it. And people ask me, well, how long do I have to use it for? And I say, well, when you're ready to die, you can stop. And I've just seen it too many times. Doesn't cure it, just stops it from growing, but doesn't stop it from spreading. Pray to your wheatgrass. Know it's going to help.
Great. Well, I think that
It does help. Keep using it.
yeah, I think what you do have some really, really valuable stories. I think what I would love to know from all of you, and luckily we have another class next week where I'm going to talk about the program that Natalia did to heal herself. I actually teach you how to do at home. So I teach you how to go completely raw. I teach you how to do every single step from beginning to end. I have a coaching program. Natalia and I can like coach you guys together. Like we really hands-on help you with this. And I'm hoping that maybe with the HeartSmarts group, we can do like a cleanse together, maybe in like the fall after the summer. Because I would love to work with you guys and really get you to see results and inspire you to do it together. Also, we didn't get to talk about the sprouts so much, but I want to give everyone an opportunity to talk about that because what I saw was incredible. I also hope that everybody joins my Facebook group. Those of you who didn't, please do now because it was so cool to see everybody in their sprouting journey and sharing it live at like in the moments. It was like, I felt like I was in your kitchen with you sprouting. And it was really inspiring to see. So I don't know if Dr. Tettey, you want to give everyone an opportunity to share anything.
Sure. So anybody, if you'd like to share anything about your sprouting experience, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat that you'd like me to call on you. But if you raise your hand, it'll be much easier for me to see you and call on you. But I'll just share for myself that it really has been an amazing experience. This week, I felt like it's what I've heard. It's like to have children, like when you first have a child and you're so cautious and like you don't want to feed it anything, the wrong thing, or move it the wrong way. That was week one for the first go around. And now this second week, I feel a little more comfortable, you know, the second child with this second, I guess you can say second batch that we're making. And it's more natural. It's moving easily. Like Harley told us that we would get into the swing of it. And I like mine on the 5th and 6th day. And Harley said we would figure out which day we like it better. So everything that you guys said would happen is happening. And it's just been the most awesome experience. And, you know, it's just naturally in a room in my home. And it's just a part of my life now. So it's just really, really awesome. So I'm going to add some other people to the screen with Sharon first to share her experience.
It was, excuse me. It was great. Initially I felt like I was back in science class and we were doing a science experiment. And I was afraid initially too, because I was afraid of the mold and things like that, but it was super easy. And I found that I love broccoli sprouts anyway. And the broccoli sprouts were wonderful. And my son was here over the long Father's Day weekend. And I had to do some more because I looked over and he was eating up the broccoli sprouts. And I remember trying to race him to eat the last batch because that was the one that was ready. And I said, that was my greedy spirit that took over because I ate them from him. So he's interested in it. And I said to him, because he's young, and I said, if you're truly interested in doing this, let me know and we'll get you going. I don't want it to be just a fly by night thing. If you're interested in doing it, I can direct you to how to get the stuff because he lives on his own in Mississippi. But it was wonderful.
And I actually wanted to ask, thank you, Ms. Sharon. I actually wanted to ask you all about the broccoli sprouts because those were the ones that I was the most nervous about. They seem to take the longest to sprout. So I actually thought I put too little in the jar. So I just, those were the ones I was worried about. So what should the experience of the broccoli sprouts be?
Yeah.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Okay, so this is what the broccoli sprouts should look like. Is this what they looked like for you?
Yes.
Okay. so you felt like, oh, not, it didn't grow as much. The volume wasn't as much as the radish.
That was the least volume from all of them. Reached the top of the jar at some point. The broccoli sprouts almost did, but they were the least volume for all of them.
Yeah, so you could, that's the normal amounts, and it's a good thing to experiment with. How to get them to grow bigger would be at that point putting them under the light, putting them by the windowsill, and then their leaves will get a little bit greener and they'll start to come up towards the light. But pretty much this is what they're going to look like. And when you get broccoli sprouts like in a container, this is usually what they look like. So this is broccoli sprouts, and you did it absolutely correctly. But it's a good thing to, I gave you just a generic amount to sprout, and you get to learn the personalities of all of them. That is playing. But yes, you get to learn the personalities of all of them. But now you know the basics of it, and you can see, like, yeah, this is what the radish looks like. Has that little bit of pink.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna add Ms. Yeka. And then
Good evening. Good evening. Okay, so I really want to say thank you to Rebecca and Harley for the videos that they did, because they calmed down my nervousness. They did videos in a Facebook group, so I was looking at them religiously and following along, making sure that I did everything correct. I did the broccoli sprouts because I said I was going to do one at a time, because I'm like, I don't want to get overwhelmed, so I did the broccoli sprouts, and then I did the lentil. They came out absolutely fine. They were amazing. I still have some lentil sprouts. What I did find was that a half a cup was too much because it's only me eating them. So, and I still have some in the house. My family's not even asking me about what I'm doing in the kitchen because they don't want any parts of it, not yet. So, but I'm gonna find a way to work it into some of the food that I feed them. But so I still have some in my refrigerator, and what I've been doing is I make a green smoothie in the morning, and I throw it like a cup full, or almost a cup full in my green smoothie, and it's just fine. Thank you so very much. And I love my sprouts. The other thing I want to say before I go is that I've bought in the store broccoli sprouts, and I've shared with this group before that the ones from the store gave me uncontrollable flatulence, like just uncontrollable. But the ones that I sprouted at the house, I have had zero issues with them. None whatsoever. So I'm a believer. Thank you for making me a believer.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Yeka, for sharing that. And I was going to ask everyone what their families were saying, because every time they turn around, it's something else with HeartSmarts, and now you guys have a science project in the kitchen. And so you guys have put it in the chat, but what were some of the comments that you guys were hearing from your family members, if you want to share about this new thing that we're doing? Okay. Anyone else want to come on? Ms. Doreen and Ms. Andrea, I think you were the two most excited people about all of this. So if you want to raise your hands and come on and share your experience at all, you can. Rebecca, there was a question in the chat. It's a very specific question about, I think somebody cooked there. So he says, I sprouted mung beans and took 2 days to sprout. I stewed my sprouts in tomatoes and it turned bitter. So now I have a pot full of mung stew in the fridge that I can't eat. Why do you think this happened?
I don't know. I guess cooking the sprouts, I don't know. The sprouts themselves can be a little bitter, I suppose. Were they bitter did you find them bitter before you ate them? I guess before you cooked them is the question. Would they be bitter when you cook them? I would be inclined to say no, because usually like the flavor and the intensity of everything is lowered when it's cooked. So I don't really have a good answer for that. Dad, you have something to say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Tell me what happened again. You put mung bean in
I didn't do it, but The person who wrote it, sprouted mung beans, and it took 2 days to fully sprout. They stewed the sprouts in tomatoes, and it turned bitter in all caps. 3 exclamation
Well,
points.
we don't do sprouts. We eat them raw.
Yeah. Just eat them raw. Don't put them in your stew. It's a waste of sprouts.
Don't try to cook them.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to talk about a couple of things real quick.
Right.
Important. On Facebook, I wrote out instructions on how to remove the hulls off the sprouts, and I don't like the hulls. With the lentils, it's the green cover sort of on the lentil sprouts, and all the sprouts have hulls. And once they're on day 2, day 3, those hulls can be removed and washed away, taken away by hand. I don't know. I like my sprouts to be without hulls. The hulls is like a very fibrous material that I don't like it. All right, so day 2, day 3, maybe go back and read what I wrote about how best to remove the hulls. And the other thing, couple of things is when you're sprouting, when you get good at it, if you want to make a large amount of sprouts, that's what I do. I don't make these little jars. I make a big thing of it, and I put a lot of seeds in it. And as I eat out of the big container, the sprouts continue to grow, and the container stays full, even though I'm eating a lot. When we heard from Doug, he talked about a big thing and an abundance. So when you buy a lot of seeds, not the little starting kits, but when you get an abundance of seeds, you can try growing an abundance of sprouts and really having your salads every day of all the sprouts. And it doesn't take any more effort than it does a small amount or a big amount. It's about the same effort. So try that if you're going to get into it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Gonna add another person, Miss Andrea.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Right. So I echo everything that Miss Yaka and Sharon said, and Dr. Tettey, because I started out really nervous, not knowing what to do. I had all the little comments in the house, what am I doing and all that. But as the days went by, I joined the Facebook group, and that was really useful because Rebecca made the video. It was so good, and I realized that I'm doing the right thing. I did 5 jars. So I have my last amount this morning. I put some in my smoothie because I thought, I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to keep this for. I keep smelling and checking, that everything is good. And so it's the most exciting journey I've been on for a long time. I am so thrilled to see, like somebody said, you feel like you're back in science class, and it's just so good. It kind of helped to, my taste buds were another thing that I was so thankful for. So when I heard Natalie talking about how thankful and how grateful she was and all the affirmations, that's what I felt like doing. I felt like I've been revived. I had a new lease of life. So my taste bud, but also my menu, the dishes I was putting out were like coming alive. And just seeing everybody in our group really doing, I don't know where the pretty ones come from yet. I even did on the Thursday after the Wednesday we started sprouting, my it was our anniversary. And I thought, okay, I've never had these things. So I asked my niece to go up to the store and get me some microgreens. And that was my first experience. These things are just so sweet. It was like drinking water without drinking water. The salad was so fresh, and it's like my taste bud was just saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It was just beautiful. And I am just so encouraged by all my teammates who are now sprouting, who, we were all a little dubious about what, whether we were going to do it. And I realized everybody's sprouting now. So that's been great. So thank you guys. Thank you, Dr. Tettey. Thank you, Rebecca. And seeing Dr. Tettey's photo on the thing is just the bomb. It really, really just inspired me to make sure that I do it. So next time I'll do my reds.
Thank you. And your excitement about everything always keeps us excited about everything too. And everybody, there's a video posted, and maybe you've gotten it from your ambassador, that I made for you guys. And it's to a song just saying, it's our time now to do something new, to push out of our comfort zones. And a lot of this is really about discipline. Does the wheatgrass taste great? Not to me, but it's something that's good for me. So I'm going to have the discipline to do it. Do the sprouts taste amazing from the first bite? Maybe not to everyone, but it's something good for your body. And this is a discipline thing and a healing journey that we're on. And if you think about it that way, it really is something that's spiritual and healing in a lot of ways. So thank you, Ms. Andrea, for sharing that. So I'm gonna ask Ms. Doreen to unmute.
Good evening, everyone. I was just excited from the beginning, from the first day. It was like, okay, you did this, you did that. I just had everything in front of me, right in front of the computer. But my family is like, okay, you are another HeartSmarts. What are you doing now? It's like, listen, we're going to sprout, we're going to do this. But my biggest thing was that I really feel like the sprouting, especially with the broccoli sprouts and everything, and I'm not going to cry, is really like an answer to a prayer that I've had for my son for like from the beginning, when we found out that he's 30, he's gonna be 30 this year, had autism. And I was like, there has to be, for years I blamed myself. I was like, what happened? And it has to be an answer. And then when I started reading in the book, it's like, well, this, it's not going to cure it, but it's going to help him. I was just like, we're doing this. I don't care. I was like, we're going to do this. So we jumped in with both feet. Of course, it's just me and him taking it in right now, but he's so, like, he just knows. He always loved like cooked broccoli, but now it's like, okay, adding broccoli sprouts. So in the morning when we first got started, is like, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to get him to drink this. So what I did was I just juiced, blended pineapple and broccoli sprouts and gave it to him to drink, and he just drinks it up. So even this morning we had broccoli sprouts with watermelon and kiwi, and he just drank it up. And I'm doing it twice a day with him, and just waiting to see the miracles that's going to happen. So we're on our second batch. I did another thing of broccoli sprouts and started radishes this today, and then I'm waiting for 2 more jars to come in, because then I'm going to go ahead and do more of the broccoli, the lentils and the mung beans. But we're really excited. The rest of the family, they'll pick at it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's like, that's okay. You don't have to eat it. It's more for us. That's all right.
Yeah.
More for us. But I think that, as we're going to keep going now, like we're going to be getting ready to do the wheatgrass, I'm just really excited to see what miracles are about to happen in my house.
Awesome. And I just wanted to say to you all, I think Doug said this, like, you wouldn't just eat, when you were eating meat, you wouldn't just eat meat unseasoned or, whatever, you would prepare it. And so thinking about healthy ways to make the sprouts palatable to you, and that's what our exercise is for this week in HeartSmarts, to try the recipes and to see what you actually like. If you just put it on a plate and just eat it like that every day, you're going to get bored with it, right? So it's about longevity and sustainability and what's going to work for you, and playing around with it and experimenting to find the best ways that you like to eat them, because we're doing this for long term, not just for these couple of weeks, right? So thank you, Ms. Doreen. And then Rebecca, there was a question about the water that you use. If you do only have access to tap water, should you not be doing it?
No, that's okay. especially New York. I think that's okay. Yeah. The sprouts in and of themselves are so powerful and like antibacterial that anything that tries to infiltrate them, they're like, haha, yeah, right.
Awesome. All right, we have one more person. I'm not sure the name, so it says iPhone.
Oh, hi, everyone. I'm Laura Brown. I'm with Joanne's Amazing Hearts group. And so I was sprouting, and I sprouted all 4. And I also got the 21-day frozen wheatgrass. And I was doing wheatgrass in juice, in the green juice only. But when I saw this, I said, I'm going to try it and take 1 ounce a day. I'm a little wound up these days because of the energy that I have and the sprouting that I've done. And I'm trying to, with my family, everyone's looking at me like and walking by. So I call them tired turtles. Or can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I call them tired turtles. But I've been, my daughter just told me that she took some of the sprouts and put it in her salad today. So I'm more like standing back and letting them see my energy, and you know, you're seeing me. So I told them my last thing, I did share some with one of my friends that's also in the program. And I told her, I said, you know, I'm going to be picking up my granddaughter with my pinky soon. So she said she was laughing because that's the energy that I have. I'm going and going and I'm accomplishing things, and I have patience. I'm getting stuff done here from some construction, and I'm frustrated, but I'm not, you know. So thank you. I'm going to use this and practice this a lot more. And it was very easy. I actually did the colander and I did the jar. So I had 2, and then I had 3 and 1. So, and it worked out good. And I just want to see the difference. I do like the colander better, except I have a small counter. So it was easier with the other ones, but I really liked it. And the second day I saw a tail on the mung. I believe it was the mung. I saw a tail and I was so excited. I went in hard. I went in really looking on, I think in the middle of the night, I woke up, I said, oh, it's swelling up. Yeah, right. I was peeking, you know, right in there. And so the next day, and then I remember you saying that we can eat it if it's soft.
Yeah.
So I started eating it the second day. Yeah. And everyone's like, you eating it now? And I said, oh, maybe I'm going to get sick, but good. It'll help me because, but I started eating it the third day. I said, oh, it's even, you know, so I started and I saw you when I was listening. So thank you. I'm enjoying it though. And I put it in a lot of my salads, and I put it in some other of my foods. I don't cook it. I just lay it across it. I had some noodles or something and I just sat it there. Yeah. So, and I'm again with Joanne's Amazing Hearts, and we're paying attention. And I'm awesome. Doreen, me and Doreen are very excited. We talk about our families and them not willing, but you know, action speaks louder than words. So I want them to see me. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, in about 3 weeks, we're also going to talk about the sea moss, and then you'll be lifting probably cars and things like that after you add the sea moss to this protocol that you're doing. So that's really awesome. And thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. If no one else wants to share, we'll move on from this part of the meeting and start to wrap up. But I just want to really, I guess, congratulate you all for doing this and actually pushing through and trying. Some of you are still watching to see if we're alive, you know, next week and kind of on the fence about this. But if you're on the fence, I think as you can hear from everyone's testimony, it wasn't difficult, and it's very easy to incorporate into your diet. And I think it's something, I think you should read the Sprout book first, though. I think that gives it more of a foundation as to why you're doing it and what it's doing for your body than to just start sprouting from nothing and no foundation or information about it. We do have one more hand that went up.
Someone said, Jeanette says, I rode my bike for the first time in 30 years. It gave me lots of energy. One time I had an amazing guy that I was doing a demo, and he comes over to me and he goes, wheatgrass sprouts. One time I had wheatgrass and I went swimming and I just kept swimming and swimming and never got tired.
Lois, Miss Lois, did you have something to share?
Yeah, well, not to share. Hi, good evening. I've
Good
just
evening.
joined for the first time. My aunt invited me, and I want to learn how to sprout, but obviously, from what I'm hearing, I've missed the ones where you've shown how to do it. So how can I find out how to sprout? Because I'm really, really dying to learn how to sprout. And I'm hearing
Sure.
these wonderful testimonials. And I'm like, oh, and I saw these jars on the picture of my auntie. I'm like, what's it? How do I do it?
So there's the easiest ways. There's tons of videos on YouTube about it, but we also have the videos from this series. So if you've missed anything, you can email me and I can send that to you as well. We have part 1 and part 2 last week was really about the sprouting. But again, the Sprout book by Doug Evans, and we put it in the chat as well, is an excellent resource to have the foundation about the health benefits of sprouts, the types of sprouts, why you're doing it, and how to do it as well, is all in that book. And that book is about $12. I think some of you were able to find a PDF online as well, but the Sprout book by Doug Evans has really been helpful. YouTube
Is it
videos,
on
then we also have the
Amazon?
videos from here. I'm sorry?
So is that on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look, get that. Okay,
And then
and
Rebecca also put a kit in the chat from Perfect Foods as well.
brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, we have one more comment.
Oh, I was surprised to see myself come up here, Dr. Tettey. My question was, I had small jars, and I put in, I think, a half a cup of the mung, and the lentil. I think I did a 1/3 cup of the, so they were less than a quarter, but now they're filled to the top. It's only day 3. I was like, should I take out half and put it in another jar? Or are they done?
So you had like a half a jar was full. Oh, it was like too much.
Full is day 3 in the jar.
I used the jar that was too small. The initial jar was too small.
Yeah. Okay, the same thing happened to me with my radish this time around. So I ended up just putting the radish into a colander to let them breathe and grow a little bit more, and or put it in a bigger jar. But yeah, I grew my radish to be like here. I think it was about 5 days, 4 or 5 days. But yeah, as long as it has the tail, it's good. So it depends what you want it to look like. I like to grow them until they have that little bit of a pink, just because like that's the fun of it. I get to see the pink.
I do have some of that.
Yeah.
I think the broccoli seeds are the one that Dr. Tettey said is taking the longest. So those I'm not sure when I'm not sure how long they're supposed to be.
Okay.
They look like they're done, but they look so short.
That's okay. Yeah, they are short. This is what my broccoli looked like.
Okay.
Yeah, and please, those of you who are on the fence about sprouting, I am really happy that the Facebook group was a good resource for you. That was like I'm really glad that you guys started using that. So if you have any questions, basically just post your picture of whatever you're sprouting and you can ask away and we'll comment right away. I'm going to post again one more time the Facebook group.
If I missed the water, is that something to freak out about? Look, if I was doing it every 12 hours and then I forgot one day, 12 hour, I might have got it like 6 hours later. So
no, that's totally fine. They're very, very durable and like they're strong. They're resilient.
Like I woke up early, like, oh my God, I forgot to water my sprouts last night.
That's what not to do. That's what not to do. They're very resilient. The last thing they want you to do is be stressing over them. They're just happy to be woken up.
Oh, okay. So we're good.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So any final questions, you all can put them on the chat or raise your hand. If not, we will wrap up for this evening. Yes, there is another discount code. It's HeartSmarts 10 for the greens package. that you all would be getting. So Rebecca, do you want to tell them about next week and what we'll be covering?
Yes. So next week, I would love to do a challenge with you guys. So I'm going to teach you about some recipes next week on how to eat this way regularly. I'm going to teach you about what it looks like to be how to actually implement this. So if you can order some stuff this week and then next week we can start like implementing it, depending on where you live and when it gets there, we'll see. But so you might get a little bit before, a little bit after, because everybody is on a different delivery day or shipping. If you have any questions on like, logistic questions, you can email me or the office, or just call the office direct and they'll take care of you. But yeah, I would imagine that we will talk about I'm going to give you kind of like a guideline of what it would look like day to day and what like a meal plan would look like, what to have for breakfast, what to have for lunch, what to have for dinner. And then also to answer any questions and really open it up to you and hear your stories. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys have going on, and then how this stuff can help you long term and just what it looks like moving forward, how to make this part of your lifestyle moving forward in a real way, and also how I can support you long term in that if you would like support, and whether it's emotional or through exact what to be eating, or just whatever it is, the resources that we have. So happy to be with you guys next week. And I'm very excited. This has been I would say like a dream for me, like the way that Natalia was crying earlier, tears of joy is kind of like how I'm feeling like the whole time, because I've had this vision, I think I told you guys of like just all these faces on Zoom, like hundreds of faces on Zoom. And that's what you guys have created for me here, to be able to share what we have. So just tons and tons of gratitude for showing up for us and allowing me to share what I know.
And tons of gratitude right back to you and to Harley and to everyone really who's contributed to this series that was not planned until about 3 weeks ago. So thank you everybody for your support in this. We have one more session of this 4-week series next week, and then we're going to take a break the week of July 4th. And then we'll have 2 more sessions, one on sea moss, and we're actually having the sea moss queen. So we've had the wheatgrass king, and we'll have the sea moss queen join us on July 12th. And she is the person who does the sea moss for Chef Babette. So full circle moment for us. And then we'll have our final session on herbs and food, combining with Coach Hayat and Coach Jamard. So that'll end this series for the HeartSmarts Lifestyle Program. So thank you everybody again for joining this evening. Thank you for your contributions. And really, you should all be so proud of yourself for stepping out of your comfort zone, trying something new, trying something that's going to really enhance your health journey. And I really feel like at this point in HeartSmarts, we're doing so many things throughout the day. No one should have any time to be eating anything unhealthy. I think everyone's going to go and collapse right now because we have to get up at 6 a.m. to work out for those of us who are in the exercise class. So I think I keep you pretty busy. And once you get the wheatgrass, that's another thing. So all jokes aside, you guys should be very proud of yourself. And for those of you, again, who have not started yet, it's not too late. You can still order your things. That's what I wanted to ask Rebecca. For people who are not able to order from your website for the Greens challenge, will there be a list of items that they can purchase on their own to participate?
Yeah, yeah, I suppose if they wanted to get something from like a local farmer's market or something, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. Yes. So I can text you that and you can send it in an email.
Okay, awesome. So make sure that you've registered for the program. If you have not, you can just go to the HeartSmarts website and on the events link, there's the registration link there as well. It's also in all of the emails. But if you haven't registered, you haven't gotten an email. But wherever you saw the link, there should be a registration link there, or you can ask whoever gave you the Zoom link for the registration link. But please register so you can get the information for the program. So thank you again so much, Rebecca. Thank you, Harley, and we will see you all next week. We're just going to unmute you for you all to say your thank yous as well. And everybody have a great evening.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you
so
so
much.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Very good. Absolutely.
Good.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
I love my sprouts.
Awesome, awesome.
I
All
love
right, good
my
night,
sprouts.
everybody. The kitchen is closed. The kitchen is
God
closed.
bless. Good night.
Kitchen
One
is
second,
closed.
one funny thing to
Oh,
say.
wait. Okay,
wait, go ahead.
go ahead.
Just made me think of something really funny because I heard someone say,
I
love
don't know
my-"
who sees it. That's what I would like to
Oops.
know who sees it.
Wait, let me
some-
mute them. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, go ahead.
Oh, it just caused a problem. But I just heard somebody say, I love my sprouts. And my sister, when she was growing up, she used to eat the sunflower. Well, we all have been eating sprouts since we were little, which, by the way, any of you have children or grandchildren, children love sprouts. You put them in a bowl next to popcorn and they will eat the sunflower sprouts, like versus the popcorn. They just like love them because they're fun. They're like, whatever, they're fun to grab at. And anyway, so Rachel was eating them by the handful and she's like, I love I love sunflower sprouts and I love mommy too. So we love our sprouts like we love our family.
We love our sprouts like we love Rebecca for helping us to sprout, and Harley too, and all of you. And it was Miss Jeanette who said she loves her sprouts. So thank you for putting that energy out there. And thank you for sharing that, Rebecca. So I'm not going to unmute everyone again because I want to tell you one more time that the kitchen is closed and we are all going to bed. So everybody have a good evening and we will see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Good night.